All right.
Hello all.
Hi, everybody. So welcome to our very first What's Cooking in Clark County SNAP-Ed food demo. This is our very first one, so we hope it goes off with no technical glitches, but you can never guarantee that. So bear with us if that does happen. My name is Anna Wyrock. I'm a SNAP-Ed nutrition educator at WSU Clark County Extension. And SNAP-Ed, the goal is really just to provide nutrition, education, and resources to the community who is eligible for SNAP and EBT. And that could be a lot of different things. You may have seen us handing out tastings pre-COVID at the family and community resource rooms in the schools, maybe in the school cafeterias. You may have had a nutrition class from us or taken one of our market match tours at the farmers market, which we hope to be doing those again this summer. So might hear more about that coming in the future. And really what happened is, we still want to be able to provide these nutrition resources with the community, even though everything's still virtual. So that's how we came up with the Facebook Live demos. And we just hope to show you a food demonstration each time and also provide some resources about what's happening in the community. And actually, before we even get going, I want to do a quick share about pandemic EBT. So the newest round of pandemic EBT has come through. It looks different than the first one. So it's different in that if your student is eligible for free or reduced lunch, then they are eligible for the pandemic EBT. They don't have to apply to get pandemic EBT, but you just have to be eligible for free and reduced lunches. So the family doesn't have to have an EBT card, which is great. In that way, the EBT card is just coming, or the pandemic EBT card is coming straight to the student. And I just want to share with everybody, please have your contact info up to date. So that could be on Skyward for a lot of folks, but just through your school, make sure your contact info is up to date. Yes, so that is my quick blurb about pandemic EBT. I want to make sure everybody gets that. Today, what we're going to be doing is showing you how to make a creative snack using apples. So apples are a food we see a lot in the pantries. The snack is super nutrient dense, but it also allows for a lot of creativity. You could use up what you have in your pantry. And then we're going to be talking about our local pop-up pantries that are happening at the schools. And we're also going to be talking about resources from our family and community resource rooms, or Fcrcs. So we are really lucky to have a couple guests today. Oh, and before we even introduce, feel free to throw questions in the chat at any time. We will be monitoring that. And we're really lucky that one of our guests speaks Spanish. So if you feel more comfortable writing your question in Spanish, feel free to do so. And now let's introduce our wonderful guests. So we have Becci from Share. She's the Hunger Nutrition Program Manager there. And we also have Marisol from McLoughlin Middle School. She's the Family and Community Resource Room Coordinator. And then we have Stacy, who's another SNAP-Ed nutrition educator who will be doing the food demo. So I want them to be able to also introduce themselves. So Becci, you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your program.
Hi, everybody. I am Becci, and I am the Hunger and Nutrition Programs Manager at Share, like Anna said. So I oversee our backpack program that delivers bags of food to kiddos during the school year once a week. I also oversee our summer meals program. So you may have seen me out and about in the community during the summer at some of our free lunch sites that were up this year. And we are planning to do those again this year. And I also oversee our hot meals program. So I get to work a lot with our schools and also our other homeless shelters in the community and get food to lots of people. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Thank you, Becci. Marisol, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your program.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Marisol Garcia. I'm the Fcrc, or Family Community Resource Coordinator here at McLoughlin Middle School. And basically my job is to support students with their basic needs. So if students here need school supplies, if they need food at home, we do also have we work really closely with programs in our community. So if you need utility assistance, rental assistance, there are FCRCs in about 14, 15 schools in our district, and even there's some in Evergreen. So if you are from Evergreen School District, they also have FCRCs. So if you ever need anything, those are the people you want to talk to. And you can just ask your front office secretary if you have one there. So that's what I do here.
Awesome. Thanks, Marisol. So last but not least, Stacy. She will be doing our Apple Nacho food demo today. So Stacy, feel free to take it away.
Hey, everybody. So I've been with Snap for a little over a year now, and my favorite part of this job has been doing food demos. We've had to pivot a little bit over the last year, and we started doing Zoom demos. And we're doing some elementary school and middle school food demos for different groups and classes. And it is, during a normal year, a big part of our programs in our schools. But we're glad to have you here. And we've been doing this apple nacho recipe for a couple months now. And it's just kind of a fun, when you say here, apple nachos, it kind of piques your interest because you're not sure exactly what's going on. But it's a fun meal, and it's a good meal where you can prepare it ahead of time. So this is National Nutrition Month, and this week on Facebook, we've been highlighting meal prep, and this is something that's super easy that you can keep in the fridge. You can send it to school, but make it in the morning, make it the night before, and the kids can actually assemble this themselves. So part of, hold on just a second, I'm gonna switch things up. So part of our class is we talk a little bit about knife safety. And so I'm just gonna give you a little bit of example of what some of our classes look like. And we'll talk about knife safety, whether a knife is safer if it's sharp or dull. Anybody know that? Anybody? No? It's actually safer when it's sharp, but that means you have to let the kids know and teach them the proper way to handle. You want a good grip on your knife. You want to make sure that your fingers are tucked in when you're cutting something, and you slice. If you don't want your kids using a chef's knife, you can actually have them, so I would suggest maybe even peeling the apple, but you can use a butter knife, but you're gonna want them to saw into the apple. And again, it's probably a little bit safer if you peel the apple. It's a little bit easier to cut through. But again, hold those fingers underneath so you aren't putting your fingers in peril. So what is an apple nacho? An apple nacho is basically sliced apples, which again, you can do ahead of time. And then it's either a peanut butter or nut butter topping. You can also do yogurt. And then whatever topping you think of. And today we are actually doing a granola coconut flake, or shaved coconut, which I know, Becci, you see a lot of in the pantries, or at least we did last year when we were there. So again, here's kind of an example of how you might pack it, but this is how you assemble it. So you have your apples, and if you're sending kids to school, if you want to do your peanut butter in a baggie, and then if they can have somebody snip the end, you can actually squeeze the peanut butter on the apple. So this would be the cheese on a regular nacho. And it's a fun project for the kids. So there you have your peanut butter. Then you can top it with, I have a homemade granola that I make, and I'll actually post a recipe in the chat. And we'll actually post this recipe on our Facebook page, but this is where it gets fun. So you can add granola. And if anybody else has any ideas of what you could put on here, you can do fresh fruit, you can do other nuts. I have some pumpkin seeds, which I'm going to add on here. I'm going to do the coconut flakes. And then just to make it look like a real nacho, instead of sour cream, I have some Greek yogurt, which I'm just going to drizzle on. So this is one of my favorite snacks these days, and a lot of times I will just eat it for lunch. So there you have it. Your apple nacho. Enjoy. Oh, wait, I have one more thing. I always forget. So I don't like raisins, but I do like currants. So I'm going to top this off with some currants. So there you go.
Thank you, Stacy. I love it. So I really like it because it's something that you, if you're working during the day, you could have the apples ready to go, and that's something that kids could assemble on their own. And it allows the kids to get in the kitchen, get creative. So, and this is just one way to make it. You could make it in many different ways, however you want to put it together. So thank you for that, Stacy. We're gonna switch gears a little bit and start talking about some of the community resources that, oh, how's it taste, Stacy? Awesome. All right, so we're gonna talk about some of the community resources that you can be utilizing, which is why we asked our wonderful guests to be here today. So like I said earlier, I have some questions I'm going to be asking them, but if you have questions, go ahead and pop those into the chat right now, or as we're going along, and we'll be looking for those and we can ask them at the end. So I'm going to start with Becci. So we were virtual learning, now we're hybrid learning, kids are coming back into the classroom. What does that look like for Pantry, the pantries moving forward, and then like just food access as a whole? What's that going to be like? What did it look like before? What's it going to look like moving forward? And then who are the pantries for? Loaded
Yes. Lots of questions. So I know that there's been, a lot of changes in the last month with all our kiddos coming back to school, which is exciting and scary and new and a little bit different. But I know that every school staff that I've talked to has been like, we're so happy to see the kids and have them back, and they're doing really great. And one thing, I actually had a meeting this week with Food Bank to really talk about what it's going to look like now that kids are back, to help answer this question. And we decided that we're going to keep what we're doing the same through the end of the school year. So we'll go to the end of May with our pantries. So there will still be drive-through in Vancouver School District and walk-through shopping style in Evergreen School District. We're going to keep our same sites. So if you've been to any of our pantries, I could list them all, but that might be a lot to list them all. But we've got 6 in Evergreen and 6 in Vancouver school districts, and they all are in kind of the middle of the day, either 1:30 to 2:30 or 2:30 to 3:30. And hopefully that's still pretty accommodating for kids being in school. But the pantries are for everyone, really. We advertise them to our school families, and because we don't have, quite the capacity that some of our big community pantries have. So all of our advertisements go out to our school families, but anybody who comes is always welcome to have food. We have a little bit of paperwork that you just have to do once. And once you do it once, you get a card that you bring back with you, or take a picture on your phone and show us that the next time that you come. And it's really easy in and out once you have the card. We had a pantry yesterday at Hazeldale, and people just drove up, we loaded them up, and they were out in less than a minute if they had their card. So it's really easy process. It's fun. We have lots of Fcrcs there. So if you have Fcrcs, that you haven't seen in a year since school's been out, and you've only talked to them on the phone, this is a great chance to meet with them and be like, hi, I'm Becci. I haven't actually met you in person yet. And they're always there to help and answer questions. But yes, pantries are great, and they're going to keep going through the end of May.
Perfect. Thank you. What is the best way to find out where and when the pantries will be?
So checking our school's Facebook pages, answering your phones when the robocalls come through from the school districts, signing up for the text alerts from your school districts, because those tend to go out either the day before or the week of, sometimes both, when we have a pantry in both school districts. So, you know, say we have our Walnut Grove pantry, a text and an email and a Facebook, you know, update will go out the day before through VPS Vancouver's robocall system. So everybody who's signed up for that will get a notification. So signing up for that is a really great way to stay on top of it. And if you do come to one of our pantries, we have handy little flyers that we can give you that have a QR code that can kind of walk you through the process of going through a pantry and tells you when and where those pantries are going to be.
And I can do quick plug for the SnapEd Facebook page, I guess. So we try to keep in contact with Becci and also with the Clark County Food Bank and post the days that the pantries will be. So we're going to continue to try to keep on that and be posting that on our Facebook page. So it's another spot that you could find those locations. Okay, and back to questions for Becci. So
Yes.
last one is, does accessing any of the food pantries have any negative effect on people who are applying for citizenship in the future?
No. So I know that there's been a lot of concerns around that in the past, since we do ask for some paperwork, which asks for like names and birthdays, and that can be really scary for people. However, accessing a food pantry is not something that will ding you if you are applying for citizenship. So you can access as many food pantries as you want to, and it's not going to affect your ability to gain citizenship.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, I'm going to switch over to Marisol. Like we said earlier, Marisol, she's the Fcrc coordinator, or Family and Community Resource Room coordinator at MAC. So again, we were virtual, now we're going to hybrid. What resources have you been helping families with? Are you going to be helping them with moving forward?
So nothing really has, I mean, besides COVID and having different procedures in school and how we do things and how we run things are different. But when it comes to resources, everything's the same. Rental and utility assistance was always tricky before COVID, and it's even trickier now because we have because there's so many families needing assistance because a lot of people lost their jobs or their hours were cut and things like that. And so there has been a little bit of it's been kind of a struggle, but we are managing it, and we are really trying to focus on providing families with everything else. So if you need food, hygiene things, household goods, if you need clothes for your kids, we can help with that, school supplies especially. So we try to just support, we do a wraparound support for families, because we know that we don't really have the funds to help everybody, but we can do our best and really tackle different ways in order for them to be able to do the things that they really need to pay for. But I mean, everything's been pretty great on our end, and it's just different. That's literally it. It's just a little different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This year has
Good.
definitely been different.
Yeah. Definitely been different. Yeah.
For families who maybe are new to accessing the Fcrc, is there a good way to connect with your local Fcrc coordinator?
So if you, most people know who their Fcrc is in their school building. There's only a handful of schools that don't have one, but the ones that don't have one in a Vancouver school district is they have a mobile Fcrc. And so if you aren't aware of who it is, I, again, just talk to whoever you really have a relationship with, because I know it can be hard to ask for help. And so I would just, whoever you have a connection with, if it's a teacher or the secretary or anybody there, just ask them, be like, hey, I'm I really am struggling a little bit, and you don't have to explain, you just have to be like, I'm struggling and I need some help. And I heard that there might be an Fcrc in the building. Can I talk to them? And then they can give you in contact with them. And so each Fcrc is a little different as well. So something that I do that, I'm not always the same as like an Fcrc in elementary school. So we're a little bit different. I'm always in and around the school building or out of the office, or I'm just here and there. And so the best way to contact me is my cell phone, because I have the cell phone on me most of the time, or email, because I check that periodically because I'm not always sitting at my desk. But somebody else could be like, oh yeah, just call my office phone because I'm in my office all the time. It just really depends on what they prefer. But everybody is super welcoming and kind. So if you happen to go to a pantry and you do need help, but you just haven't been able to connect with your Fcrc in your school building, there is probably an Fcrc at the pantry, at one of these pantries, and you can ask them and they can connect you. And even if it's like, let's say you're in high school and you are really close to your Fcrc in middle school, or like you are in middle school and you're really close to your Fcrc in elementary school, you can still connect with them and they'll just direct you to the right person in that building. So it just all depends on everybody and whatever you prefer, really.
That's really, really helpful. Thank you for sharing all that. I had a question pop up in my mind actually when Becci was talking. So, I mean, the pop-up pantries are at specific schools. If that's not your school, or say you can't make that time, what do you recommend for families to do? Like, do they connect with the Fcrc coordinator and maybe they'll set something aside for them, or what would be best to do there?
So if you're not able to attend a pantry, that does happen a lot because we understand that everybody's working. People have, you don't have daycare, things like that, things come up. I would suggest connecting with your Fcrc because we do help support with that, especially food, because we don't want anybody to go hungry. And again, it all depends on that Fcrc and what they're willing to do. Sometimes I deliver food. Before this, I actually delivered a couple boxes because I was like, oh, they never came, and it was because they didn't get transportation. So I was like, okay, well, I'm coming over. And so I went and dropped it off, but not everyone's like that. But everyone, each and every one of us are willing to be flexible and figure something out that is best for you. So just, reach out and we'll figure something out. Because I always say, like, the worst thing I could say is like, I don't know, but I'll find out. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. We'll do this together. So just ask.
Really. Thanks.
And I will say too, if you're worried that, oh, this isn't at my homeschool, you are welcome to go to any pantry. So it doesn't have to be your homeschool. It doesn't have to be your district, whatever is closest to you. So if if your kid goes to Mac, but you work over in Evergreen School District and it's closer for you to go to one of those, like pop over on your lunch break or after school or something, you are more than welcome to come to those too. And like Marisol said, if you don't know who to talk to yet, and you do come to our pantries, you can always look for me. I'm always in my Share sweatshirt, always all that I wear there. So you can find me. It's bright blue. And I can always give you contact information for whatever school your kids are in. So, or say you change schools and you don't know who your new person is, you can find me, and I know all the people in both school districts. And even if they aren't in Fcrc, I can get you connected to who does their resources.
So, yes.
So come to the pantries. They're great.
Is there any other things that I didn't ask you guys about that you feel like need clarification, because you guys are a wealth of knowledge?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure me and Becci could probably talk for days about things that people can access and what opportunities there are, but we don't have time for that.
Yeah.
We do have a question for Marisol.
Oh, wonderful.
In the Facebook chat, it's like, can you explain wraparound support?
Oh, so it really depends on so when I talk about wraparound support, it really just means that if there's something that you need that I can't offer, so let's say you need help with your rent, and there's no funds that we have available and there's none in the community available to you, wraparound support would be all the other things that we can do for you. So let's say you spend like $200 each month for food. So we can help support you and get the food that you need each month. That way those $200 could go towards your rent or your utility bill. If let's say your kids grow out of clothes like that and you spend at least like, I don't know how much clothes are. I don't know. They're expensive. I know they're expensive. Jeans are like $40, $50. Come on. We know it's expensive. So let's say you need to get clothes that month and you can't spend $200, $300 on clothes for your student. Well, we have clothing vouchers. We have resources in the community that provide free clothing or clothing on very low discount. So we have those things that we can provide you. That way you can use that money for things that are a lot more important than clothing or food, like, because there's so much out here. And if you can access it, then we should be able to provide you with that stuff. And so that's what it means by wraparound support. And then also like, oh, sorry. And that's also like it, because a lot of those things also cause stress and a lot of mental health issues. And so that also could mean like, let's connect you with mental health resources, or let's connect you with this person at the school because they can help you figure out what IEP, I don't know, things like that. Just, that's what I mean.
Yeah. And I like that you brought up that there is a lot of these resources in the community, Marisol, because there is a lot and it takes a lot of courage to ask for help. And we completely understand that. And it's a very brave thing to ask for help and advocate for your families. So if you're doing that, you're doing a wonderful thing. And there's plenty of food, there's plenty of resources. So we want to help as many people as we can, and you're not taking away from somebody else. There's so much food specifically, because that's what, I know the most, but the food bank told me today that they are renting 2 extra food warehouses right now to store the amount of food that they have. So there is an abundance of food in the community, going out to all of our partner agencies. So if it would just even be helpful, you don't have to be in desperate need. Yeah. If it would just be helpful and take some of that stress off and make your mental weight a little bit less, we would be more than happy to help you out and just make your life a little easier.
Oh, I love that. It is true. People do say that I don't want to take away from someone else. And that is not at all what's happening. You need it, even if it helps just a little bit, because it saves you like $50 here or $50 there. That is something that you could use. And then we have so much more, like we are not limiting this at all. You need it, we will provide it if we can, So just, yeah.
And many of our programs funding depends on how many people we serve. And so the more people we serve, the more resources we get. So come on down.
Same here. It's the same way. You tell me and I'll keep getting more. It's great.
Exactly.
It's great.
You guys are so welcoming. I mean, and that's it. There's probably a lot of people out there that have never needed the support like they do now. And so hearing that is a really good thing.
Yeah, you guys are wonderful. I do have to mention, for some reason, I'm not seeing the chat. So Stacy, if you can just be monitoring that, because for some reason I'm not seeing it. I thought I would.
Nope, we're good. We're good.
No, you're fine.
So, all right. I want to just huge thank you to Becci and Marisol. Like I said, you guys are a wealth of information. You're doing such great work in the community. We are so lucky to have you here and on our little What's Cooking in Clark County. So thank you so much. We are going to kind of start wrapping up. I did have a question to throw out to any participants watching, and that is, what foods do you have in your pantry that you would like to see a food demo on, or just what topics do you want to learn more about? And then while that's happening, Becci, Marisol, what are some foods that you are seeing lots of in the pantry and you should probably do a food demo on?
Yes, eggplants, squash, And then I know that because a lot of our Latino families are like, well, some of the squash, some people know, and then some people don't. But yeah, eggplants, squash, I see that all the time. Oh, and what are they called? Shishito peppers.
I haven't seen these. Where?
Okay, I don't know. We get them at, I guess it's not our pantries. It's a different pantry, but still, I see it a lot.
I've seen squash every once in a while, but
Mhm.
I had not seen eggplants, so that's new to me.
That's exciting.
I'm thinking of King, because King has Trader
Oh,
Joe pantry.
goodness.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, we get them all the time. Like, what do you even do with eggplants?
Well, with Shishitos, toss them in olive oil and
Oh.
broil them or saute them until they're kind of brown and crispy, and you're good to go.
Oh,
Delicious.
Stacy knows. Of course, Stacy knows.
Oh, and a little sea salt.
oh, okay. See?
We also get a lot of potatoes right now because we're coming out of the winter months, onions,
Yeah.
and we tend to get a lot of bread that some people are like, oh, this is kind of weird bread. What would I do with this? And orange juice is a big one. The food bank got like 27 pallets of orange juice. So we've been getting a lot of orange juice lately. So things to do besides just drink orange juice would be fun.
Yeah, that would be good. Well, and then back to Marisol, what you're saying, like there are other pantries besides these ones. So it's
Yes.
good to know that there are other foods popping out and people are like, I don't know what that is. So it's always good to know, and you're gonna keep that in mind. So did anything come through that we need to check on the we're good? Okay.
We're
So
caught up. Yep.
awesome. We do have a quick survey for any participants watching, and it's really just, it's quick. It's just to help us learn what you want to learn more about, what we can be doing moving forward, topics for what's cooking in Clark County, just helping us make this better for everybody watching. So huge thank you to our guests for being here today. Becci, Marisol, you're incredible. And thanks for everybody who's tuning in, or if you're watching the recording, we're so happy that you were here. And I just wanted to say, like, if you ever want to connect with Snap Ed, please feel free to do that on our Facebook page. We're here. We want to connect with you in any way that we can. We plan on making the What's Up or What's Cooking with Clark County a monthly thing. So we should be sending out another invitation hopefully soon. So keep an eye out for that. And that's all I have. Anybody else? Good?
Good job, everybody. Yes. Keep advocating for yourselves, getting the resources that you need. Reach out to your schools, reach out to whoever you're comfortable with, and they'll get you connected. We've got lots of resources in Clark County, so somebody will know somebody who knows what you need.
Awesome. Thank you. And everybody can go enjoy what's left of the sunshine outside. It's
Right.
Yay.
Stick around. I'll connect with you in 30 seconds, but yeah, thanks. This was awesome. A lot of information. It was great.
Thanks, everybody.
Are we supposed to stay on? What are we doing?
I think so.
Do we keep going? I hope it went away.